Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the Austin Millbarge of board game review shows. Self-programmable guidance! Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective Jack the Ripper, and West End Adventures. Ladies and gentlemen, some months back I reviewed Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, the original, the reprint, the Asmodee edition. This was a game that came out in the 1980s. Asmodee reprinted it, Asmodee reprinted it, and Asmodee now has come out with this sequel called the West End Jack the Ripper and West End Adventures. Now this game contains kind of a campaign game. The first 4 adventures here are campaign games set in the Jack the Ripper universe. You even have a Whitechapel map on the back of the London map. Then you also have subsequently several more standalone adventures that, of course, build on each other if you want to do that. Now, how the game basically works in a nutshell is you can play it cooperatively or competitively. I played it both ways. I so much more prefer to play it cooperatively. It's so much better to kind of put your heads together rather than try to just figure it out. Anyway. The game works where in a cooperative game, where essentially you read the beginning of an adventure from a casebook. The game comes with several different casebooks. You read the casebook, and then it gives you kind of the basic setup to the scenario. Then you follow the leads. You can visit, somebody who was mentioned in the initial setup story. You can visit the scene of the crime from the setup story. You can do all sorts of things. Now, what you're doing is you're keeping track of the leads. You're going to these places and you're making notes. You want to make sure you kind of try to unravel this mystery and find out what is happening. So you go to the different places. You try to understand what's happening. You try to unravel the leads, But one lead may lead you to another lead, may lead you to another lead. Now, in a cooperative game, you're essentially passing the lead investigator idea back around. Now, you're the Baker Street of regulars is what you are thematically. You're working for Sherlock Holmes, and you are essentially trying to unravel the mystery for him before he does it. Of course, he always does it himself, but you're trying to figure it out, too. Well, it's your call. We check out the university, we check out Bobby Phil.
University.
All right.
That's a different case.
That's a different case.
That's right.
Okay,
The family member.
So Gray is lying because he said he knew him when he worked at Charing Cross Station. So you take turns deciding on which lead you want to investigate, you're making notes, and then you're going to try to come up with all of the answers that you need. Now, what happens is when you feel you're ready, you go ahead and you look in the back of the casebook. In the back of the casebook, it's going to ask you a series of questions. You're going to try to answer those as well as you can. Then what you're going to do is see what the solution was, and hopefully you got the right solution. Now, the end of the back of the solution is also going to tell you how many turns it took Sherlock Holmes to do it in, how many leads he had to follow. And, of course, you want to best Sherlock Holmes. And if you were able to do it in fewer leads than Sherlock Holmes, then you win, collectively, Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective, Jack the Ripper, and West End Adventures. So, I liked the original Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. I thought it was a fairly fun game. I thought it was very interesting, and it's a very different kind of game. And this one is as well. Now, I'll tell you right now, I have not played the Jack the Ripper campaign. I've just played some of the regular scenarios. I really like it. You've also got these newspapers that kind of have potential leads in them, but you can read them whenever you want to read them, and they build on each other chronologically. So if you're, 3 or 4 cases into it, you can go back and read all the newspapers from the earlier adventures to kind of help you find out what's going on. Very fun and imaginative and inventive. This is a great game, and there were only 10 cases in the original one. There's 10 cases here, 4 of them being the campaign. So you can see why people wanted more of this game, because it's so much fun. And of course, you can really only play through one case once. Maybe if you sit on it for a number of years, you can come back to it, maybe. But it's very fun. It's very, very, very fun and inventive, and it's just so different, and I love the fact that it brings something new to your tabletop. There's an element of role-playing here, but it's not really a role-playing game. Like I say, you can play it competitively, which I don't really prefer. I much prefer, as I say, working together with your friends to solve these mysteries. A whole lot of fun. I highly recommend this game. The recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective, Jack the Ripper, and West End Adventures is buy it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, ladies and gentlemen, and here's an interesting bit of trivia for you. My favorite movie is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb by Stanley Kubrick, which, of course, stars Peter Sellers. Now, you'll recall that one of the characters in the film is General Ripper. His name is Jack T. Ripper. And he wanted to start a nuclear war.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
It would seem, Mr. Holmes, that I...
They're best.
It would seem, Mr. Holmes,